put me through. Everything I got, I work for it. I've been through so many ups and downs, and I'm still going. Everything that God put me through, I was built for it. Everything I got, I worked for it. Would've killed for it. I've been through so many ups and downs, and I'm still going. Most of my niggas signed gun laws, and they still told me.
Hey,
Welcome to Creator Hub. I want you to let them know who is in the building today.
I'm Joanne Velez. I'm the owner of the best cleaning service in Kansas. We provide residential, commercial cleaning for Wichita and surrounding areas.
Okay, so Miss Joanne, I am glad to have you in the Creator Hub. It was a pleasure meeting you, but I've got some questions for you today.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're gonna just jump right into it. Can you kind of introduced yourself a little bit, so I just want to ask you, who is Joanne outside of a business owner?
Joanne, outside of a business owner, I am a mother of two grown girls. I have a daughter who's 27 and I have a daughter who's 18. And I am also someone who works out every day.
I'll be seeing it.
To try to keep my mind focused. It's really therapy.
Uh-huh.
You know, all the other, how your body looks, that's just a plus.
Yeah.
But it's really just a lot of therapy, somewhere to blow off steam. And just always thinking of how I can be better, whether it's personal, business.
Yeah.
That's Joanne.
All right, Joanne. Now, I remember you telling me you was born in New York, right? And you went to New York in the 10th grade, correct?
I came here in the 10th.
Came to here in
Yes,
the 10th
ma'am.
grade. Now, how did that transition shape you?
Well, it was hard. Definitely culturally different. I am a Puerto Rican from Brooklyn, New York. And when I came here, it wasn't a Puerto Rican in sight. And also just the challenge of starting in high school. I was surrounded by people who were saying, yeah, we've been friends since preschool, and here I am. I don't talk like anybody, or, it's a totally different other, just what I'm looking at is just totally different. So it was very, very hard, but I was blessed. I met some great friends.
Yes.
And kind of just fell into the Wichita swing.
So when you came to Wichita, you didn't know English?
No, I knew English.
Uh-huh.
I knew English. We didn't know anybody. Yeah, my mom had a friend that lived here. She was basically trying to give herself and her kids a better life. This looked, I'm sure, way smaller and safer and things like that. So that's how we ended up here.
Okay. Just a little dibble and dab on you. Now, what was life like for you growing up, and how did you think it prepared you for your entrepreneurship?
Life growing up was challenging. I come from a single mom. My grandmother helped her raise me, and I went through a lot of adversities as a child. I was sexually molested by family, and kind of just put me into like a whirlwind of, low self-esteem and things like that, especially when you struggle in single-parent homes. I come from the generation where they just kind of dusted us off and, we just kept on walking. Nobody was asking us how we were processing things, how things felt, or anything like that. And then we made this big move. And surprisingly, even though I'm a second generation owner, this is why I know my story definitely is a testament, by God, because me and my mom, we had our challenges. We were definitely the mother-daughter, relationship that wasn't good at all times. Yes. So when she did bring me here, this kind of spiraled off into me starting high school and bucking, because basically I was in New York. She kind of kept us in the house. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't leave the front steps. And here I am in a place where she's letting us go wherever by ourselves. I'm meeting all these new people. People definitely want to talk to me because they just want to ask me, how New York was. How's this? How's that? And things like that. Then that spiraled off into a crazy early, young woman. I became a single mom early. I was a mom at 17. And I got into healthcare and kind of I ended up raising her on my own. My family helped me, but I was a single mom. And that's how it all started.
So do you feel like the trauma from your childhood introduced you to becoming an early mom at an early age?
Oh yeah, definitely. My worth, I didn't know I was worth nothing. I didn't think I deserved anything. You kind of makes you build a lot of shame and things like that. I'm pretty sure just because I held it in, it wasn't processed correctly. And when we do that, things just stay. That's why we find ourselves as adults fighting things that happened when we were children, because we haven't processed them correctly. So I think that definitely led me into, all that craziness when I was younger. And then also being new to Wichita and not having any family and feeling alone, it just caused me to go out there and want to find everybody, because now I was on a race to find friends and find people that were like family and were going to have my back and make me feel safe.
Yes.
Because now I'm around everybody. I don't know nobody and they don't know me.
Yes.
So I think that definitely shaped me. I ended up, getting into the streets and the fast life and doing things I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But really just trying to find love.
Yeah.
Ended up in some relationships that dealt with domestic violence. And at the end of the day, I know that was because of the way everything had shaped me into that point. People notice how you take care of yourself, how you love yourself. And if you're not doing a good job, they're going to continue. That's why they tell us you teach people how to treat you. And I think I was doing a very poor job at that time. Especially running around. I'm definitely a product of what it is when you raise yourself. So I ended up in a relationship that was 20 years. And it was very challenging, but I was just always trying to gravitate to stability, and I'm sure that's just because I didn't feel stable at times.
Yeah.
And usually, they tell you that your biggest abusers will be your biggest provider.
Yes, absolutely.
So I held on to all that, and, I was going to be one of those people that had so much love to give that I was going to give it, and I was going to change whoever I needed to change. And that's just not how it happens.
Yeah.
So 20 years go by. I had another daughter in 2006. That's my 18-year-old. That's my baby. And let's see, the end of 2018, I looked at my daughter one day and said I was going to change everything. And although I was doing it scared and everything, sad, I remember taking $20 and 2 tubs of clothes, and we left to start over. And at times, people struggle with having to start over or starting at rock bottom. I've done it a million times. In 2018, I was 39 years old. Nobody wants to walk into their 40s lost. And I took that little girl, I started working, and I had a great friend let me come to her house and kind of chill out. I stayed there for 3 months and ended up working, got us an apartment. And we started off slow. First room I furnished was my daughter's room, and I said, as long as my daughter got a place to go to, I don't care, because my other one was already grown and out the house. And I put in that work. I also I took accountability too for a lot of things in my life, because shouldn't anybody be able to hurt me for 20 years? The first time they hurt me should have been the last. Yeah. So when I started my new life, I wanted to change all around. I didn't just want to change doing exercise. I wanted to change how I thought, my thought processes, how I treated myself. how I'm pouring into myself. So when I pour into myself, I can pour the same into my girls. Because now I've showed them things I shouldn't have showed them. I can't erase that, but how can I show them that this is a learning lesson? That no matter what, you're always going to go through adversity, and you can still come and you can change whenever you want to, just as long as you put in that work.
Absolutely. Oh, man. That was deep. That was definitely deep. And just knowing when people go through that adversity, and the most amazing part, just to see the image of you now and just hearing that is just like amazing.
I appreciate that.
It's amazing. Now, as far as your business journey with Maid Strong Cleaning Service, what exactly inspired you to start the service?
Well, how that happened was the job that I had taken on when I left that marriage. I was working in home health. It was actually my friend's company. And so, yeah, she gave me an opportunity to kind of help a department in her company, and that's where I worked. And then I ended up getting moved to a side that was government funded for COVID testing. So when they pulled that funding, I lost my job. So I stood around, and of course, here I feel lost again. So I'm like, why me? I just started over. I just felt stable. Why? Yeah. So I didn't want to really go back into healthcare. I know a lot of people went through just being burnt out during that time. Yeah. And so I was kind of just floating around. I would help my mom on days when people called in with the cleaning business. And, we going to find a way. I'll braid hair. I'll do anything. But, I was just kind of floating around. And then one day my mom asked me if I wanted to come help manage her team so she could have more time with my dad. And so I went to go work with her, and I managed the girls, and I did everything. She just did payroll, basically. So I took on all the other roles, scheduling, new quotes or anything like that. I took all that over. And then in 24, my mom got a great idea that she wanted to retire and move to Florida. So her and my dad moved to Florida, and she signed the business over to me. So January 1st of this year, I was full owner.
Okay, congratulations.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations. Now, why does the name, what does it represent? What does Maid Strong represent to you? What does it represent?
Well, my mom originally started the business, like I told you previously. She was a teacher my whole life. She was a Spanish teacher, and she was a big advocate in the church and in the Hispanic community. And she just had many friends that she was running into that were struggling in this industry to be treated fairly, to be paid fairly, and all those things. So she felt like it was her ministry to begin that. So that's why she started the company. I definitely keep those things going. Now I have 11 girls. When I took it from my mom, it only had 4 girls. So now I have 11 women who look at me every day to lead. Yes. So that's definitely the reason why I said I'm just always trying to be better, because we sit here and try to be better for our children. I have my children, and I have, these women looking at me every day for direction. Not only in work, but in life, because they're early 20s. So they're looking at me a bit different. And I just feel like, especially with my journey and the resilience that I've had to build and the restoration that God has put on my life, I just think I'm in the best position to sit here. And I think that's why, even when I try to hold myself back, because I am number one at self-sabotage, God is always pushing me from behind, because this is where I belong.
Yes. He like, hold on.
Okay. Get it together, sis.
Please, and thank you. I'm glad you're hearing them. That's what matters. The first hearing them. That's good. That's a good thing. Now, what is the biggest challenge starting a cleaning business from scratch?
The biggest challenge, well, I would say the biggest challenge is finding good help.
Yeah, a team.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, when I was in healthcare, I worked in a nursing home. And I think those are just jobs that you have to have a passion for being a caretaker for.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get paid for all the work that you actually put in. Physically, emotionally, mentally. And I think it goes the same way with cleaning. I think, not that you have to say, oh, I love cleaning toilets, but you have to have a passion for wanting to clean that house and wanting those customers to come in and see that they've paid for a service that was amazing.
Yes.
That's what I always, and my girls are like that too. Like sometimes they come in and they're like, what did that person say yesterday? Like it's going to make them feel good to understand that they were so happy when they came from work.
Absolutely. And I think it's very important when going into entrepreneurship. It has to be a passion.
Yes.
It has to be something in your heart and in your soul you really love doing, because if not, it's you against you. You don't have no boss. You don't have nobody telling you what to do. So if your passion and your heart ain't in it, you gonna fall.
Right.
For real.
Right. That's why I say, that working out is good. Because sometimes I wake up, I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't know why I'm depressed, but I'm depressed today.
Yeah.
And, I'll be like, oh, let me just put some gym clothes on and go to the gym, And then while I'm in the gym, it's just like, I don't know if it's being a natural entrepreneur or just being so involved, because I have this team, but at the end of the day, everything else, I'm a solopreneur. I do everything on my own. My payroll, my admin, everything, I do myself. And sometimes, all that'll get overwhelming.
Yes.
So just trying to stay focused, trying to keep my thoughts together, and then just giving myself grace as I have to change my hats, because I might have my Maid Strong hat on, and then my daughter calls, so I got to take that off and put my mama hat on. And, just having grace and understanding that this was my calling.
Yes.
Because sometimes I get mad and I'm like, sis, come on, get it together. You mad because he gave you this gift? Yeah. You want to go clock in on somebody else's dream, or you going to clock in on yours?
On your own dream. Hello.
Right.
That's the one right there. That is the one. Now, just diving more into the entrepreneurship, do you feel like it took you many tries just to find a consistent team?
Oh, yeah.
To stay down with your business?
It's trial and error. Because it don't matter how many references they put on their application and how many people tell you they're amazing cleaners.
Right.
Until you bring them in and see what they're going to put out, you don't know what somebody's about to give you.
Right.
When they get in the job, they promising that they going to clean the Empire State Building for you. I clean it all. I clean 10 houses. Yes. So it's trial and error. Also just staying strong on my leadership. Because, at times, I have a heart. My heart gets soft sometimes, and in the beginning, I would suffer so bad just, to let somebody go. And it wasn't about being mean, but it was just like, you're not a fit. But now I actually went and took a leadership class. And I don't think it's so much about what you learn or take out the class. Those type of classes is like what it brings out in you. Because to me, I didn't think I had the capability to express myself professionally in those type of environments or lead anybody. I'm just learning how to healthily, or how, is that a word? Healthy? Lead my kids. So it's just, it's a process, but it has been trial and error. Yes. So, they come in on a probationary period. And if everything goes well, and and me speaking with my leaders and how they doing and because they're in a van with 4 to 5 other women. And at the end of the day, when there's a lot of women in one space, sometimes it ain't right.
It can get crazy. It can get crazy.
So, just seeing how all that works, and then if that works, then they move on. But I've been blessed. Like, I have girls that have been with me since I took over. So, I mean, I've definitely been blessed because on the back end, even if I do have a bad turnover, I have some really good leaders. So when the right person comes, they'll swoop them up, you know, teach them real good in the house, you know, and then they'll, yeah.
Wow. It gotta be amazing having a successful business. Just being the owner of your
I'm like
business
humble too, so sometimes I be, you know, or maybe I just feel like I'm not complacent.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I speak to people and they be like, "You arrived," and I'm like, "What? This is just the beginning."
Come on for the ride, because it's gonna be a storm.
When I got a management team and I'm sitting in my house with my feet up, not worrying about anything, and there's still money being made, then I arrived.
Now, how do you feel time management? How do you feel like you are able to just control your time management with wearing the different hats that you wear? How do you do it?
Well, I actually, my friend, they gave me that job. You know, we would always do Bible verses, and she would always tell me, like, you need to write it down and make it plain. And so that's what I do every night. Every night I have a little journal, and it's probably my third one because, you know, I've been doing this for a while, but I just write down everything I have to do the next day. And true enough, it might not go in the order of 1, 2, 3, 4, but I still have it written down. I can move them around if I want to the next day because, you know, life don't happen the way we said it was going to happen. My daughter will call at 10 and mess up everything. So, you know, but I always have it down. So even when I go through overstimulation, anxiety, depression, or whatever else, you know, we go through because I'm 40, my hormones are crazy. I still got that paper looking at me, and I have a whiteboard in my house with the same thing on it. So when I sit in my office, that's what's staring back at me. What are my goals?
Yes.
You know, I even have my 5-year goal, which is to have a management team. So this way I can step away and go do something else that won't take so much of me.
Yes. Give your time somewhere else. That's the goal.
Yes.
That is definitely the goal. How did you and your crew push through COVID and keep the business alive?
Well, my mom had it through COVID. And I just think it was my mom's, you know, just constant mission. Like I said, the business started solely off of word of mouth. My mom never marketed Maid Strong until I came along. And, you know, I knew my little knowledge of social media from the personal page. So then that's when I started, you know, putting out flyers and sending it to different, you know, mom groups and things like that. But my mom was solely off of word of mouth. And like I said, one teacher friend supported her, and then that friend told another friend and another friend, and that's how they so really I guess just the power of friendship, but also just the power of the work she was putting out and, you know, the work they were putting out, because this is a industry, you know, it's a lot of competition. You know, every day I wake up, it's another flyer for a new cleaning company ready to clean your house for $25. Right. You know, so I mean, it's a lot of competition. So that's one thing I'm always telling my girls, like looking at different TikToks, learning how to, you know, fold the towel a different way, or, you know, mop the floor better, or different products that'll work better, work faster, just so we can always be one step of the game. So this way we're at the top of that long list of great cleaners.
Yes. And that's crazy, because my next question for you was, what sets Maid Strong apart from cleaning services in Wichita?
Well, definitely, we are the best.
Yeah, I love it.
The one, not the two.
The confidence, I love it. I love it.
But, and you know, I laugh at that all the time because, you know, that's not something I just woke up and started saying one day. Like, that's what my clients say. You know, we've won Wichita's best for the last 2 years. We're crossing our fingers. We won this time again.
That's good.
But, basically, I always pride us on the time efficiency. Just looking at a cleaner who would be independent. Well, you know, them being in your house 5 hours versus us coming in and knocking it out in less than 2 hours. Also, attention to detail. That's why I told you I'm constantly trying to train them on different things we can do to just keep them happy and impressed, because we are a luxury expense. So at the end of the day, you know, if money get low or things like that, this is the first expense that they take away. Like, yeah, we're going to put a hold on that right now because, you know, our car broke down. You know, things like that always happen. You're just always trying to be different. And, I mean, that's how you should always be in life with anything you go through. You know? You should always just be trying to be your best and always be a learner. I'm 45. I'm going to say it right now. I don't know everything. But I am still learning. I'm still in there working, and you know, just trying to just fight the old Joe. You know, trying to fight her and you know, hug her at times. Because when I have my successes and I look in the mirror, I remember what they used to label me. I remember what statistics said about me. But now I look in that mirror. That's not me no more. I got a new life. I'm a new Joe. The big one, not the little one.
You better let them know. You better let them know. Okay, Joanne, what advice would you give someone thinking about starting a service-based business today?
The advice I would give them is to definitely have grace with themselves, because things are, you know, we're our biggest critics. We're going to judge ourselves before the world does. So grace, and then also building your strong square. You got to build your strong square so when stuff get to rumbling, you strong on there. So you have to pivot. You need to be ready to pivot. You know, like I said about that list, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 ain't gonna happen like that all the time. Absolutely, it might be not. 1, 4, 3, 2, you know, and 2 might take 5 years. But I mean, you know, you just stay on track. When you got a dream bigger, because that's what God's gonna do for you. And then also just stay focused, because there's so many distractions. There's so many distractions. You know, sometimes things happen and I find myself, you know, especially with social media, it'll have you all locked up. You know, stay focused on you, because at the end of the day, that's the only person that's going to take care of you is you.
Yes. Now, we're going to jump into more of your personal side. You survived a 20-year relationship with domestic struggles. How has that experience shaped the woman you are today?
Like I said, going through that was difficult. I just, when I left, you can't change people. So when I left, the only person I could change was Joanne. And at the end of the day, like I said, this wasn't my first time. You know, I had been through this a couple times in a couple relationships. So I really just wanted to look into me, because it's not like I have a sign on my head that says I like this. You know, so what am I doing? What am I pouring out? What am I doing to myself that makes somebody think this is okay? And that's when I started changing into my new life and holding myself accountable and pouring into myself. And when I started doing all that, that's when your new tribe comes, because all my friends look different now. I tell my daughter all the time, she's like, oh, she's going to be my friend forever. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen like that, baby. But when you start taking good care of yourself, then here comes your tribe. And then that tribe is really going to pour into you. And that's when they're going to hold that mirror up and show you the person that you don't see. Because no matter, you know, trauma and everything will have you so blinded. It took me so long when I first got this business, when I was walking in rooms, to understand that I was actually getting the respect I did from people, especially people that don't look like us. They wouldn't have looked at me, you know, twice if they would have seen me, you know, years ago. They wouldn't even acknowledge me. And now I walk in the room, people are, you know, smiling, ready to shake my hand, ready to do business because they trust me. Because I've been out here not only building these relationships, but proving myself. You know, all those workout videos and all that, I'm not putting that on there to brag. I'm trying to show everybody that this is not only a company, Maid Strong is a brand. And if I'm not showing that I'm Maid Strong, then how I want somebody to trust me, use my services, or support me?
Absolutely. Now, when did you realize you had no limits, that you could that you could take control of your own story within them domestic relationship?
Probably maybe like 2-3 years after I had started my new life. I was still very broken. I actually started going out and speaking to other women about domestic violence, and it was kind of weird, so I ended up stopping for a while just because I felt like I still had so much work to do in me. I didn't want to be a broken person telling a broken story.
Right.
Like now I feel like God has put me in this position, gave me this platform as an entrepreneur where I can go out and say, yeah, I went through those things. Yeah, that was me. I did that. But look at me now. And coming from a place of victory and not victim.
Yes, that's a big one. I feel like that plays a big part in this world. Because, everybody have a story.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just how you pivot on your story.
Right.
So I definitely agree with that. That's a big one. What role have your friends and family played in your journey, especially those 4 girls you mentioned in the beginning?
Like I said, I have, when you're growing up, you just don't know. Like, it's just trial and error. That's why when I see young people now and they messing up and people judging them, I'm like, we all go through that.
Yes.
But, hold on. I got to start that over.
No,
I done lost my thought. Okay, ask me one more time.
What role have your friends, family played in your journey, especially those 4 girls you mentioned in the beginning?
Okay. Those 4 girls in the beginning, I have all of them except one because one of them moved to California with her family. But they definitely, taught me a lot because my mom handed me the business and that was my first time being a boss. But then she moved to Florida. So it wasn't like I still had my mommy here to hold my hand.
Yes.
So they definitely helped me, always trying to tell me something we can do to help things go faster or a new product that, works better than this one. Or they would, tell me like, hey, one of the other girls, I'm trying to talk to her. Nothing's working out. She's slowing us down. Just always, keeping me in tune. Because at the end of the day, they're running themselves. I have a leader, but they run themselves because they're out, cleaning all day. And then I'm out taking care of the admin side. But all of them keep me strong. Even now, like I said, they look at me like a leader. So, yeah, they've come to me sometimes with personal issues, wanting advice and things like that. And it kind of just makes me happy that I can even sit here and tell people things like that, because back in the day, I would have been like, no, you don't want no advice from me. I need advice, too.
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to make my way around my own advice.
Yeah. And then as far as just my tribe, growing up, you think, you have all these friends. That's amazing. And now I look at it and I'm like, I got 2-3, but they so solid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to worry. If I call, they're there. If I'm not there, they got my back. Like, that's the biggest thing with me now. Like, you my friend, fine. But when I'm not in the room, are you still my friend?
Are you still my friend? That's her message.
So, they are so solid. They pour into me all the time. And when I have all those crazy thoughts that I, spoke about, they are the ones there. Like, girl, please, I don't want to hear it. Or, keep pushing, you're doing fine. Or they remind me of all my blessings. Yes. Because at times we be getting blessed and, distraction will come. And then we want to act like it's the end of the world.
Yes.
It really don't matter if you're a billionaire. Your car's still going to break down. You're going to wake up one day, your fridge going to be broke. A friend going to talk about you. All these things are going to happen. So at the end of the day, like I said, that strong square, that has to do with your tribe too. Because they going to pour into you. They going to support you. They going to uplift you. So, yeah, I just feel blessed. I feel so blessed. And I'm humble. I remember where I come from. I'll never forget where I come from. And I just want to be here to inspire people because I felt stuck before.
Yeah.
And, I just want everybody to know you don't have to feel stuck, but you're going to have to put in that work. Because nothing's going to knock at your door to save you from whatever problem you're having.
If you would talk to your younger self, what would you tell her?
I would definitely love on her. You know, like I said, my mom was a single mom, and my grandma raised me. But you know, I mean, our grandparents have been old our whole life. Who remembers our grandparents as being young? So my grandparents were giving me the necessities I needed. You know, clothes, food, house. But I was still the only kid in their house because everybody else was at their own house. You know, so just felt alone a lot when I was younger. So I would definitely love on her. I would definitely tell her not to give up. And I would tell her that things will look better. Things will look better. You just, you know, you got to stay close to God.
Yeah, amen.
You know, that was one thing when I left that relationship. I found the greatest church, Oasis Christian Center, whoop whoop, and they just gave me like the best foundation, you know, to have faith, have hope, believe in myself. You know, those were the first people to pour into me. I went one day, she had just invited us because I was in a workout group and they were letting us use their gymnasium. So, of course, you know, she was like, hey, you know, church is on Sunday, you know. I went and I've never left. Yeah, it's just, you have to have that. You have to have that foundation. You have to have that book with you, because every time you have one of those bad thoughts, you're going to need one of them verses to help you get through that.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, this is why I do speak out, because, you know, saddest thing I've ever seen is when I see people my age and they look like they don't know their purpose yet. And I feel like sad for them, because like I said, starting in my 40s was the worst thing ever. I cried every night in the beginning because I was like, I can't believe this, you know. Not only to be an entrepreneur, but it's to inspire and to be one of God's storytellers. Because at the end of the day, why we got people that don't believe in God? Because they ain't seen him. Okay, well, you ain't seen him? Well, let me show you somebody who done been sexually molested, who's been in domestic violence, who's been broke, who's been, you know, all these things. And now, look at me now. That wasn't because I was, you know, special or I had a superpower or any of that. That's because God got me through that. He restored me. You know, I was in the streets. Wouldn't nobody look at me right now and think this is where I would be. People would trust me. You know, God did that, not me.
Yes, amen. And with that, everybody's not going to understand that. They have to go through something so low where that's all they got.
Right.
You know, that's all they got. And that's why it just takes time. You know, they can see you getting through, like, how is it possible? How is she getting through these obstacles and this and this and that? And you can tell them, I'll lean on God, you know.
Right.
But they personally won't walk them shoes and really have a true understanding that you depend on God until they actually have to go through it.
Right.
And not necessarily go through your story, but just go through something in life where it break them all the way down to their knees. And all you can do is be in that position to pray. That's the only thing, and call on him.
Right.
So,
right. And I mean, what is the greatest gift to give to somebody? It is prayer.
Yes.
I mean, people use it so, you know, loosely on Facebook. You know, someone says something right away. You see 3 million people say, you know, I'm praying for you. You don't know who's really praying for you, but that is the greatest gift ever.
Or who really needs to be praying. I don't want everybody praying for me.
Yeah. Don't PREY, PRAY.
I don't want everybody praying for me, because you might be praying for the wrong things.
Amen.
Now, I got another question for you here, Joanne. Now, what's next for Joanne? You know, both as a speaker and as a businesswoman. What's next?
Well, I As a business owner, like I said, my 5-year goal, well, it's 4-year goal now because I done already did a year, is to grow the company and build me a management team so I can step away. And of course, I would be doing something else, but I definitely want to find something that's not so time consuming on my end. So that is my entrepreneur goal. It's definitely always to grow. Like
always.
I mean, I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I could do this, this, and this. And like, it's just always a battle in my head to try to see where we can grow. And then as far as me speaking, I am in such a good place. I have never felt more confident with my story. Like, I was talking to one of my friends, and she's come to probably almost all my speaking events. And there was a time where I would go up there, and the only thing I got out was my name.
Wow.
And people would give me grace, and I'd be out there melting like a candle. Yeah. But that was still that broken part of me. You couldn't tell your story. Yeah. Story never gets easier. Yes, it still makes you want to, water up in the eyes and things like that. But when you're more confident about your story, then it's so much more easier to tell. So I just feel in a really good place. I just spoke at one of our sister circles. Have you ever been to a sister circle? You're going to have to come to one. I think the next one is next year in March.
Yes, definitely.
Connie Mansall, one of my great friends, she throws those. And then at the end of the month, I have a speaking event on the 28th. Marcy and her team are throwing together a great event, and she has an organization called the Girl Gang Revolution. And they basically do like a lot of women empowerment through fashion and music and spoken word. And it's just going to be a great event. And she has 2 speakers coming. So I'm speaking along with the great Carol Brewer. And yeah, I'm pretty excited.
And that's when?
This is the 28th.
The 28th?
Yeah, I have it's the 28th at... Hold on, y'all. So this way I can... Oh, no, it's the 27th.
Of this month?
The 27th of this month. Okay. It's at Harvester Arts, which is at 120 East 1st Street North, Suite 115. The doors open at 6 and show starts at 6:30. And she's going to have fashion. She's going to have a lot of the arts, spoken word, music. She has 2 speakers coming. I'm just so excited. And I really just urge all young and older OGs in the building to come and come have a good time so we can empower each other, have some good laughs, tell some good stories, and leave inspired and motivated to be the best us when we leave.
Yes, that's what it's all about, right? Building each other up. When you see somebody not in a good space. Yeah. That's our job as women.
Yes, it is. It is. And because we've been there, and some of us didn't have that person. Like, that's what I always say when people are like, well, who are you trying to be? I'm trying to be the person I needed. Yeah. I'm trying to be the person I needed because I was very, I didn't tell my business, so nobody really knew what I was going through. So a lot of people are walking around with these hidden struggles, and that's why they tell you just be kind because you don't know what nobody's going through.
Right. It's always best to give a smile, a hug, a hey, or something because you just never know what somebody is going through. Where, if you, with your maid service, with your cleaning service, if Maid Strong had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh, that is so funny.
Yeah.
If Maid Strong had a theme song,
what would it be? I got to hear this.
What would it be?
That was a good one. You have to think a little bit.
You got me.
Yes.
Probably Look at God. by, I think her name is Corinne Hawthorne. But just probably that, because just like I said, especially people that look like us, you know, they so quick to label us and so quick to throw us in statistics and what we are going to be because of what we went through. And I just feel like as long as you put in that work, you can be whatever you want to be, no matter where you came from, no matter how long you were there, no matter what happened to you. All that can change. Your life can change.
Absolutely. Can change. It's up to you. You can sit in your misery. You can sit in your trauma.
Because life will move without you.
You're going to look up 5-10 years from now.
Right.
And be in the same predicament.
And then, like I said, as parents, what our job is, like I said, you know, I I started my life over, but there was also things that I had taught my kids. Yes. Now they have learned behavior, you know, and I have 2 girls. So, you know, I mean, I definitely, especially with all the struggles I had in relationships, I didn't want those to carry on, you know. So I just feel blessed that I am the person I am now. Because, yeah, my kids can say all that, but when they finish their story, I'm proud of that story. Yeah. You know, I don't even care how it began anymore. Yeah, you're right, I come from the mud, you know, but I am just blessed. And I just want to pay forward. Like, I want to, like I said, be the person that I didn't have.
That you needed.
That's right, that I needed.
And that's a good thing, because you're learning from your past.
Right.
You're learning
That's
from
right. We got to take lessons from everything, no matter what it is. You know, we're going to go through some really hard times. And, you know, it's okay to be, you know, suffer for a little bit, because you have to work through that pain. Because just like I said, I come from a generation that didn't let us feel all that.
Yes.
You know, stand up and you keep on walking. Let me dust you off.
Yeah, come on.
You know, yeah, now I'm a mama of a different generation. So, you know, now I got to look at my kids like, well, how did you feel about that? And, you know, do you think I should have did something different? Do you know? Because now, you know, that's how you have to treat that generation. But I'm just glad that I have learned what I've learned. Yes. And I have been poured into the way I've been poured into. And loved the way I've been loved. Because it's just made me grow into be the person that I am now. And I'm not perfect. Yeah. Like I said, I will wake up and I'll be a total mental case for a little bit, you know, just stressed out. You know, 2-3 girls call in, or, you know, I don't have enough houses for them, and I got to give, you know, them off, and then, you know, now they're not happy, you know. I mean, anything can stress me out. Yeah. No, I'm not perfect. Yes. You know, but I have definitely learned and took on some skills that helped me get through all that, and I can still be productive, and I can still be healthy, and because at the end of the day, if we ain't taking care of ourselves, how are we supposed to be pouring into something if we ain't pouring into ourselves?
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's what I keep in my head, because, of course, nobody wants to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go work out. Nobody. Not even me. If you look at my Ring camera, I'm sure you can see the scariest face you've ever seen in your life leaving my house. But I know that I'm going to put myself first on every day. Before I put my energy into anything else, Joanne is first. Because Joanne has to take care of everybody. So
that's a big one. Yeah. Take care of self first.
That's right.
Self always first.
We number one.
Yes, because you can't bring your 100% positive person out of you. You can't bring that positive person out of you.
Right.
If you're not taking 100% care of yourself.
You're not. And then a distraction will come, and now all of a sudden you feel depleted. And you feel, you know, drained. Right. And all these other things. You know, well, now I got kids, and I got employees, and I got a business that's waiting on me.
Yes. You are amazing.
You amazing.
Thank you. Oh, my God. Now we're going to start wrapping it up here. Where can people find you and be able to support you online? What is the easiest way they can contact you? I want you to let the audience know any information on that.
You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is _Maid Strong Cleaning KS. And yeah, find me on there and I'll follow you back and send me a DM if you need any services or any inspiration. I got your back.
Joanne got your back. Okay. It's a nice meeting you. I'm glad you came in and we checking out Beauty and Hustle. You already know the beauty is in the journey and we're going to catch y'all on the flip side.